Aries, single friends. It's Tarot, my love. I'm David. Thank you for joining me. We're using the Ethereal Visions deck today to do your singles reading for June. God help us, it's June already, right? Let me see. Make sure I have my mark. Oh, we're good. So, June, wow. So this is a little bit different singles reading. We're going to try to just find your person and describe them. And we're asking Spirit directly through the cards to show us your soulmate, the one that's actually right for you. It's exactly best suits your life purpose right now, and so you would suit theirs, you know. How do you find this person? I'm going to try to look at the four pillars, I call it, because I look at the emotional and intellectual and the love and sex nature and what I call lifestyle core values. Underpinnings of a good relationship and kind of see if I get some hits on what they're like and a little bit of their history, pick up on how you might perceive them and uh, even some stories they might tell, something like that. Okay, thank you guys. Have a cup of coffee here. So Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, whichever one you relate. So you might want to, it's something important going on in your life and you find a reader resonating with you, then pull out all stops, watch it ride. My advice, watch the moon. If you're new to tarot, I'd watch these quickie readings like I do, 3 or 4 minutes, and that way you only got to spend 3 or 4 minutes and just watch a few days worth and see if your moon is different from your sun or your rising's different, and see if one of those resonates. And that way you don't have to spend 40 minutes of your life, but you always get something out of a reading. It's inevitable. Okay, so here we go. We're going to look at their emotional nature here, and we're looking at the Five of Cups. A little bit different reading, so I'm just going to pull 8 cards. King of Cups, good for emotional, so they're definitely a very, I would say, very emotional person here, with 2 cup cards coming up. We'll look at their intellectual nature here. 7 of Wands, and we have the Death card. So, very complex person we have here, I'd say. Here we'll do sex and love, I look, and then do core values and lifestyle. So, let me just look at this, because this is the sun and the moon in astrology. This is the conscious and the unconscious. Here, the king of, this is the I call him the Jim Morrison King of Cups in this ethereal tarot deck, and this would be the deep unconscious here. I tell you what, I see a father with a drinking problem. It's kind of, it's kind of cliche, but being in the deep unconscious would get kind of specific, because I want to identify, help you identify your person. Now remember, this is your person. We're not worried about toxicity or that kind of thing. If that's what's right for you, and it isn't, so we're not worried about it, because this is the one that's right for you. But, not everyone had a happy childhood, okay? Apparently, that's, if you did, then realize that you were really blessed. Yeah, and you're in a rare air. So, um, yeah, I had a really difficult childhood, especially emotionally. So, abandonment is stuff. Um, their mother may have abandoned them, and then their father was a drunk. I'm just gonna tell you, that's really a strong feeling I'm getting, and that's, they're probably, they might tell you that on the first date. I'm trying to see something where you get to know them a little bit. So this is something they would have had to deal with. So far, I'm not getting age here. We know it's at least a young adult. Um, but emotionally, not sure how this would affect them. Trying to get a picture. They very likely have a Pisces moon. I'm going to go with that. This is so strong here. neither of those came up reversed anyway. I usually don't rate it. Um, so they would have been someone. There'd be someone that's kind of self-contained, probably introverted. They hold on to their emotions a lot. If if you let them, they might be able to tell you. They would tell you stories, in probably great detail about like different important points in their life. They probably have a really good memory, and it, they will. They'll literally like use the word feel a lot, and they will say like instead of saying they'll say I feel. You know. I think the budget is good this year. I feel the budget is good this year. Where you would think you would use think, but they might use feel, and it just very feeling oriented. So probably receptive as you sit and talk to them, even though they got this Seven of Wands and the intellect up here. Um, I get the sense with death underneath, and here this is in the next to that King of Cups in that vulnerable position. I get like a Scorpio energy with them actually. You know, they got a water moon, probably Pisces moon, but I bet you they got a Scorpio Mercury, and they might be a Sun Scorpio person here. Yeah. Um, and I got a feeling with the Seven of Wands, it's not them being a combative person. It's not like you're going to look for that as you sit and get to know them, that they're going to come across in any way combative. I think the opposite. I think one of the big lessons for them is that Mercury and Scorpio is a very powerful, right up there with Mercury and Aquarius, I think, or Virgo. Uh, and they probably learned to set boundaries. Um, I had to do this. You don't when you grow up like this, you don't know what a boundary is, and so you go to therapy and you read and you learn and you practice, and so they with their mind they've learned to set boundaries that to a whole person that's born whether has parents that gives them self-esteem, teaches them about emotions, or emotionally intelligent and available people. Um, they just have this innately. But your soulmate here, Aries, they had to learn it. So it's like learning a language when you're older. It's very clunky. So, in other words, they have to stop and go, wait a minute, is that one of those boundary things? Oh, yeah, yeah, I'm supposed to assert myself here, I believe, in a calm and natural and but assertive manner. Um, and I think they've learned it well. Um, and it's probably like a process like that for them uh, their whole life with their emotional nature here of having to kind of transform in reparent themselves. A word that comes to mind here is reparenting, and I have a feeling that your person is involved in, or was involved, or has been involved in some kind of a growth-oriented social group. Um, um, I was an adult children of alcoholics for a long time. There's a lot of groups like that. Could be almost anything, like a 12-step program or something, um, where they've learned to basically manage emotions. And it's taken for them probably a process. They probably are past their first Saturn return, so at least in their 30s. And the King of Cups, kind of implies that. But definitely has that younger energy too with this King. So, yeah, very complicated person too. I think with the Seven of Wands and the Death too, there's a lot goes on in their mind as you're sitting and talking to them. They're probably going to be real receptive and more about listening, uh, and then a projective energy. But as you're speaking, just realize there's a lot going on in their minds. And I think too, what this shows with the Seven of Wands and Death is they're really not afraid of the shadow stuff. They're not afraid to go there. Um, so this would definitely be a person that would be into the esoteric stuff, eighth house stuff. Said there's probably a Scorpio Mercury, might be a Scorpio Sun, could be a eighth house stuff going on with them. Um, so the whole package, the esoteric realms, an interest in discovering what's underneath the rug, what's underneath the surface of things. This is that person that reads people um, that in that scorpionic way. They don't. I say when they're listening because they're not just listening to what you're saying. They're listening to what you mean, what you might mean, what you maybe don't mean, but are really still saying. They're maybe picking up on all of it, and so that's kind of the intensity. It just maybe comes across when you're sitting with them as you might be thinking, fuck, all they're intense, man. But really, it's because they're in their mind, like there's layers and layers and layers. They're going, and they're the kind of person that's gonna, because they're your person or your soulmate. So this person, you don't have to ever be afraid of revealing to them your darkest self. I mean, if there's bodies buried somewhere, you can tell this person where the fuck you buried them. And in fact, this is the kind of person, if you came home with your hands all bloody and say, I killed somebody on the way home, the first thing they might say is like, oh my God, have you told anyone? And they're like, oh, well, I'll go help you bury the bodies. And then after you do that and you get home and wash up, then they finally say, hey, by the way, I know, I love you. And I know if you killed someone, it had to be a good reason, but you want like fill me in now? So they're really not afraid of the darkness, and they're not afraid to go there. And when they accept you, man, they accept you like down to your toes, man, bone to soul, you know. And they're going to accept you because that's why I love this reading. Just got to find them here. This I try to give some details. Now, sexually and love nature here, I'm going to try to look at their Mars and their Venus energy with this too, the moon and the Ten of Wands. Now, core values and lifestyle. Four wands. It's pretty cool. I like it with the moon. And the Knight of Wands. Wow. So look at in terms of lifestyle, core values, these wands here. Think about this a minute. So the moon, and they're probably a scorpionic personality. Ten of Wands. I'm seeing this as maybe a Sagittarius Mars, and then that would make the moon. Might have a Scorpio moon too, but I mean not the moon, the Venus, the Mars Sagittarius. Really don't get that though. It'd be more like maybe a Libra Venus, but there's a real romanticism to them with the moon. Um, and I don't want to say it's kind of like it's not unlike the way they are. A softness, a receptiveness, a yielding. They're definitely not going to be the dom um, person. Um, but in terms of the way they love and their Venus energy, um, the bad thing with this is with the Sagittarius Mars wanting to do too much can be over promising. Um, some needs could come from the childhood to kind of overperform, like in terms of both sex and love. Like, I don't, they're definitely going to be making sure you're taken care of. But a little bit of the energy of they feel like they have to, it's like they might feel like, why would someone love me if I didn't like really do everything for them and do a lot for them and give them a lot? Like it's my with the moon, it's hard for them to grasp that someone could just love them for themselves and not for what they could give them. That's what I'm saying. Um, and I like the Libra Venus too, because that's the softness to them, and the balance, and look, the four wands is up here, so there's someone that's relationship oriented, um, um, but because of the self-esteem stuff, they just kind of feel like they really have to make sure they're good enough for you. I don't think this would be so much of a problem in this relationship, because I think they're going to know you're their soulmate, and you both understand that. But just so you understand the dynamics here. So, two, in terms of love and sex, I mean, um, they could be like, in terms of the way they love, a very romantic way, and like and they don't like harsh words. You're definitely not going to want a difficult sexual or challenging sexual kind of energy in the bedroom. Like dirty talk, or they're not going to want any kind of whips and chains, right? But um, with the Ten of Wands being the Mars energy of the Sagittarius, um, they might be a little surprising, in terms of, like, actually when the bedroom door closes, being a little more adventurous and stuff. So I get more of the sense, though, that like, if you were into whatever you were into with this Ten of Wands, they're going to do it. Like, they would almost literally do anything to please you sexually, you know. So be gentle. Okay, and they're in a little conflict always with that exact energy and their Venus energy, because really what they want is to feel like it's an equal relationship always. It's tough, to have that even, and so they want to feel like they're giving as much as you're giving. With a Libra of Venus, they focus more on them. With a lot of us, we're okay if we get more than we give. It's like, great. With Libra, they're like, no, no, I have to give more because it's not even. So they can kind of be on themselves for that. Now, with the Four of Wands and the Knight of Wands, first of all, they're very much oriented towards family and family values, and the building of a solid foundation for the family. Um, I get the feeling they had a divorce that was absolutely devastating. They'll tell you about this, okay? Just got that feeling. And because family means everything to them. And if when they love, they just love completely. With this Knight of Wands here in this position, they're a risk taker. This Mars comes out more now to me. Um, there's someone that's kind of fearless. They don't carry a lot of fear. In terms of the home, by the way, they will want a home. They want, like, the white picket fence. They'll want kind of a traditional. They're going to want a marriage, a man and a wife and a husband and that kind of thing. Um, Something what they consider solid. Um, but at the same time, they're not going to be like a homebody, and they're going to want to go out and have a good time, and they're going to be very protective of the home. Um, with this Knight of Wands, I mean, this could also be someone, again, that's involved in uh, some kind of police work, some protecting people, a guard, a bodyguard, policeman, policewoman, that kind of thing. Um, and I get the feeling they're going to be successful with that Four of Wands there. I definitely feel a home. Like, they have a home that means a lot to them. I just, when I said that, I looked up here. You see, the one thing about the Five of Cups, look at that castle in the background. That's probably the little boy's home there, the man's home, no? And, he's across the river and cut off and lonely. That's why I say there's abandonment issues there. So no surprise that the home is so important to your soulmate here, Taurus. No, no surprise there. Um, so I think that gives you some kind of idea, maybe what your person's like. But let me know what you think here. And I appreciate you giving me a like, give me the old thumbs up, and thank everybody for subscribing.